Sup you guys, ASD Classified here. So, first let me preface this video by saying that I do not hate Beast Morphers. It is enjoyable at times, you know, it has a good cast, most of the characters are great. Hell, its premiere is one of the best premieres we've had in years. Okay, that episode is really fucking good. I recently rewatched that premiere. Oh my goodness. Dare I say that post RPM, that premiere is the best episode of Power Rangers. Like, it beats out all the episodes in the other Saban brand seasons, like, easily. Like, whew, that premiere, they put their foot in that premiere, baby. Whew. But yeah, you know, I enjoy a lot about Beast Morphers. You know, episodes 1, 2, and 5 are like highlights of the season for me, right? Overall, I would say it's a decent season of Power Rangers. And that's my problem with it. It's a decent season of Power Rangers. After Samurai, Super Samurai, Mega Flop, Super Mega Flop, Dino Charge, Dino Supercharge, Ninja Steel, and Super Ninja Steel, I do not want decent, okay? I want amazing, brilliant, astounding. I want a season that I can put in my top 10 best seasons, okay? That's what I want, you know? For a while, Beast Morphers seemed like it had the makings to be one of the best seasons of Power Rangers of all time. Like, it seemed like it was heading there, right? But then it made that left turn in mediocre lane, and it kept going straight. And I just, what happened? What happened, Beast Morphers? What went wrong? Now, there are many answers to that question. You know, I'm gonna start with two right now. And these are the two criticisms that I have given Beast Morphers the most. The action and the villains. Oh my goodness. Let's start with the action. The action should have been way better than what it was. Period. That's it. It should have been way better. Power Rangers is an action show, okay? The action is a very important thing, okay? Most of Beast Morphers action, not all, but most of Beast Morphers action is uninspired and generic. Period. It's uninspired. It's generic. The fight choreography could have been made up by literally anyone. They could pay me to make this shit up. Like, it is just, it's just not that great. It's just not that great. I know a lot of people really like the Beast Morpher action scenes, and that's fine for y'all. I don't like them that much. Like, if you compare them to other action scenes of Power Rangers, come on now. Come on now. If you sit down and made a top 10 list of all the Power Ranger action scenes, or a top 15, or a top 20, or even a top 30, because Power Rangers has been on for a long time. So if you made a top 30 list of all, like, the greatest fight scenes in Power Rangers, not one fight scene from Beast Morphers will make that list. And you know that. You know, not one fight scene would make that list, okay? You know that. If you were honest with yourself, you know that, okay? And that's my problem. Beast Morphers should have amazing action, and it just doesn't. It's just generic, as I've said like a billion times right now. Even in episodes where the action should have been just top notch, man, it wasn't. The Battleizer episode in Beast Morphers, I'll never forgive that. Oh my god. There was nothing. Devin got his Battleizer, and that fight scene was nothing. It was generic, paint by numbers as it come. Are you kidding me? A Battleizer episode. And then the finale. Don't even get me started on the finale of Beast Morphers, where it had like barely any action at all. You had the main villain just one shot in the Megazord, and then the Megazord fell apart in terrible CGI. Like, Beast Morphers, step your action game up. Because the action really brought the quality of this season down. Like, for real. Now, moving on to the villains. The villains, most of them suck. Most of them suck, okay? Really, Beast Morphers only has one good villain. One. Only one. You know who that is? It's not Roxy. Stop. The only good villain they have is Scrozzle. Period. Period. Scrozzle is the only good villain that they have. Scrozzle is the one who created the foot soldiers. Scrozzle is the one that created the device so that they could make what Robodrones or monsters, okay? Scrozzle is the one who created the Gigadrones. Scrozzle is the one that creates devices that the villains use to terrorize the Power Rangers and stuff. Scrozzle is the one that comes up with the best villain plans that they have. Scrozzle, Scrozzle, Scrozzle. The villains would not be able to give the Rangers the small challenge that they do give the Rangers without Scrozzle. Okay, Scrozzle is the only real threat to the Rangers. The rest of the villains don't do shit. So yes, Beast Morphers needed better villains. And they also needed villains that actually challenged the Rangers. And I mean really challenged them. The villains in Beast Morphers are nuisances at best. They don't really challenge the Rangers, okay? Look, when I was a kid, when I used to watch Power Rangers, you know, we used to have these things called multi-parters, right? Rarely do we have multi-parters in Power Rangers these days. But when I was growing up, we had like a ton of multi-parters. You know what happens in multi-parters? The villains win in the first half. That's what happens. The villains win. They get the upper hand. They beat the Power Rangers in a pretty cool way, right? And the Rangers have to regroup and they have to, you know, get new weapons or gain new knowledge and skills and come back on top and they learn something along the way. The point is, the Rangers have to work for their victory, okay? It's Power Rangers, the Rangers will always win, but I need to feel like the Rangers can lose, and I need to feel like the Rangers are actually being challenged, and rarely do I feel like they are in Beast Morphers. The villains in Beast Morphers aren't really challenging these Rangers at all, okay? I think the only time they really challenged them was episode 19. There's only 20 episodes in the season. So, okay, no. An entire season of the Rangers just beating y'all asses with ease, you know. Alright, let's talk about Evox. Evox, our main villain. Wow, does he suck. Like, oh my god, he sucks. He's boring. That's his biggest sin, is how boring he is. He's boring. He doesn't do anything, right? Everything that he should be doing, Scrozzle does, right? So Evox doesn't really do anything. He's just there to yell at people, I guess. I mean, I like how Evox looks. Like, I like the snake look. I like seeing him slither about. Like, I like that. But, like, substance-wise, Evox is useless. He doesn't really do anything. And we don't know anything about him. He's a computer virus. We don't know where he came from. We don't know who made him. We don't know why he cares about the morphing grid so much. We know nothing. 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 He's just this thing that exists and he bores me. Great. And the avatars. If you watch any video I've done about Beast Morphers, you already know how I feel about those bastards. Like, the avatars. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Pathetic. Pathetic. I hate them. I really hate the avatars because they're evil Rangers who constantly get their ass whooped and don't present any real challenge to the Rangers. I hate that. We've never had that in Power Rangers. Every evil Ranger poses a real challenge to the good Rangers. Everyone. Trent didn't go into battle with the Dinosaur Rangers and get his ass whooped in every episode, okay? That didn't happen. The Thunder Rangers didn't go up against the Wind Rangers and get their ass whooped in every episode. Tommy didn't do that when he was Green Ranger. The Titanium Ranger didn't just get his ass whooped. It's just like they put up a real fight and threat against the Rangers, and that's something that the avatars do not do. Period. They just don't. They just don't. But that goes to the action in Beast Morphers too. If the action was better, then maybe the avatars would actually challenge the other Rangers more. But that's where we are. And honestly, my criticism of the avatars is probably the most controversial thing in this video, because a lot of people in the fandom love the avatars. Oh, they love the avatars, especially Roxy, okay? I mean, even like one of the Power Rangers fans are selling like Team Roxy t-shirts. Like, y'all really love the avatars, and that's okay. Like, I'm not... You like what you like, it's fine, but like, damn, the avatars don't do anything to deserve all this love. They do nothing. They come up with generic villain plans and everybody's just fawning over them all the time. Like, seriously? And people love Roxy because she's so hammy and shit. I think that's actually why I hate her. I hate her because of how hammy she is. And normally I like hammy characters. Like I liked, what's his face in Dino Charge? Heckle. I liked Heckle because he was so hammy and shit. But I also like Heckle because he was very, very powerful. And he could back up the shit that he says, right? Like Heckle could kill a monster with his finger, okay? What can Roxy do? Roxy and Blaze be acting like they're such tough shit, but they never did anything to actually back that up. Like, so... Alright, let's talk about Vargo. I feel like I didn't talk about this villain enough in my reviews, but God, I hate him. I hate Vargo. Like, so much wasted potential there. He shows up and then he immediately becomes subservient to Evox. And I hate that. Like, why couldn't Vargo just be his own villain who's a threat to both the Rangers and Evox? I don't understand. Why is he working for a fucking computer virus? Why? Why? Why are you working for a computer virus? This makes... I don't understand. Vargo has the potential to be great, but they squandered it. And then they had that whole stupid plot, right? Where like, oh, we have to steal the Rangers' powers. And that went on for episodes. Episodes of that nonsense. And what was the payoff? Vargo gets all three of their beast powers. He has a ridiculously whack fight. Like a beyond whack fight with the Rangers, right? And that was it. Like nothing came for that. Episodes of the villains trying to collect the Rangers' beast powers. For that, for a terrible whack conclusion where only one Ranger beats this monster. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like, just pathetic. So yeah, the action and the villains. I have talked those points to death in almost all my Beast Morpher videos. Yes, those things needed work. Those things really bring down the quality of Beast Morphers. Let's talk about something I didn't really touch on as much. The storylines in Beast Morphers. The storylines in Beast Morphers, man. Oh my goodness, they should have been developed more. The writers could have dug way deeper in the storylines in Beast Morphers, but they chose not to. Like, Beast Morphers has a very good premise. There's a very good plots going on. There's very good story here. But the writers just, they just refuse to go deeper. They had the makings of an A paper, but they turned in a C paper instead. Okay, like, I don't understand. I mean, when we talk about Devin and his dad and their relationship, and we talk about Commander Shaw and her relationship to Ravi, we talk about Ravi and Roxy, or we talk about Noah and his childhood, Noah and his relationship to Zoe, Evox, where the fuck he comes from, or we talk about the concept of Grid Battle Force and where it came from. Like, there's a lot of story here that the writers just refuse to go deeper into, right? Like Grid Battle Force, I was very interested in learning more about Grid Battle Force. But outside of the premiere, they don't really touch on Grid Battle Force or what its mission statement is or why it exists or who created it, anything, right? What we know, we only know from the premiere, right? Like Grid Battle Force is an organization, we're just gonna assume it's a government one, but it's an organization. They've somehow tapped into the Rangers' Morphin Grid power, you know, with the help of Nate, right? So they have access to the Morphin Grid. They want to use the Morphin Grid to, I guess, create a cleaner energy source for the planet so that we no longer create pollution, you know, and we don't have to deal with those crazy orcs. Great. Great, right? But what else? I feel like there's a lot more that we can learn about. Like, how did Grid Battle Force, you know, come to be? You know, how did they get their hands on Nate? Who's running Grid Battle Force? Is it connected to other Power Ranger teams? How do other Power Rangers feel about y'all digging into the Morphin Grid like this? Like, there's a lot of questions that could be answered here, and it hasn't been answered, man. So let's swing back to Devin and his dad, though, because that is one of the most disappointing things about Beast Morphers to me. How they handled their relationship, oh my goodness, no. They had something here. They had something here with, you know, a dad who wants better for his son. Like, he wants his son to, like, have a better work ethic, put the games down, get a job, you know, grow up. I see the story here, you know, and Devin has to keep the fact that he's a Ranger a secret. Like, there's, oh my goodness. Episode 19 pissed me off, man. Episode 19 pissed me off, and I kind of wish that I uploaded my review for it, but whatever. Episode 19. Episode 19 is when Devin and his dad came to blows, right? And Devin was like, no, his dad. I think Mayor Daniels told him at one point, he's like, son, I just don't understand you, right? He's like, you be running around at all hours of the night. You come in late at night. You look like you've been in a fight, right? You got bruises on you all the time. You refuse to get a job, right? Like, all it is, all that dialogue. A lot of Power Rangers fans like this scene, right? They like this scene where there's all this drama with Devin and his dad, right? I saw that scene and I kind of got upset. I got upset because they were doing a lot of telling us instead of showing us. And it pissed me off because I'm like, why haven't we seen this throughout the entire season? Why didn't we see like scenes where Devin comes home late at night, bruised up or limping from a long battle, right? And his dad is like, Devin, what the fuck happened to you? You know, and Devin comes up with some excuse like, oh, you know, I was just training really hard at the Riptide gym, you know, just sparring and nothing to worry about, right? Like, why we didn't see more scenes with Devin being like, Mayor Daniels being like, Devin, you need to get a fucking job. Like, why didn't we get more scenes of that? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. They had more than enough time to show Devin's home life. They did. I hate that they decided to tell us instead of show us. I hate it. Like I said, like Devin and his dad didn't have any interactions since like episode 5, and then all of a sudden episode 19 shit is hitting the fan. It's just really, they could have developed that a whole lot better, man. There was a lot of juicy drama that could have been developed there, and they squandered it. Plus there was all that drama with Mayor Daniels and Grid Battle Force that they also just got rid of, right? You know, Mayor Daniels wasn't too pleased about Grid Battle Force at first, but then he became like their biggest fan later on. Okay. But I also hate the fact that when he found out that Devin was a Power Ranger, that he was just super okay with that. I hate that. I think I said that like in my review of the premiere that I wanted his dad to be upset with Grid Battle Force. Like, really, y'all out here endangering my son's life and you didn't even tell me? I wanted him to be upset. I actually want him to not want his son to be a Power Ranger. That's what I want, personally. I don't think we've ever had that in Power Rangers where a parent finds out their child is a Ranger and then they're like, no, you need to stop this right now. Nope, you're not going to be risking your life like that. Let somebody else do that shit. Not my child. I want that. It would be new for Power Rangers. I want that. This could have been the season to do it, but they refused to, man. Mayor Dan should have been pissed at Commander Shaw. You should be endangering my child's life. But instead, as soon as Commander Shaw said, hey, I endanger my child's life too, they were just cool. Like, oh, okay, well, touche. Like, are you serious? Let's talk about Commander Shaw. I love Commander Shaw. She's such a badass. She deserved way more focus than what she got. Like, I'm sorry. Seriously, she deserved way more focus. Like, I think about all the focus that, I don't know, Colonel Truman got or Captain Mitchell got. Like, they got a lot of focus, you know, mostly because their kids were Power Rangers and they were both kind of mentor-like characters and stuff. So they had all this drama with their kids and training the other Rangers and stuff. There was a lot going on with both of them. Commander Shaw doesn't really get that, and I hate that she doesn't. I wish that she got more focus. I mean, I'd be lying if I said her being a woman of color doesn't make me more interested in her, because it does. It totally does. You know, but she's a woman of color who's very badass. Okay? And I want to see more of her. Okay? Her son is a Ranger. There's all this drama because she represents Grid Battle Force. She enforces Grid Battle Force's rules, and sometimes those rules conflict with what the Rangers want to do, right? But the Rangers have never come to blows with Commander Shaw about this. Like, at all. I hate that. I hate that. They always hide shit from Commander Shaw, and then they never have to, like, deal with her for the most part. I hate it. All this shit with Ravi and Roxy and shit. Like, seriously, none of this, nobody's gonna come to blows over it. Or the fact that she hates art and thinks art is a waste of time. And Ravi, because of that, he's always like hidden what his passion, because he likes art, he likes to draw and shit, but he's hidden that because of his mother and how she reacts. He's never gonna come to blows with her over that. Really? I don't know, man. I just feel like they should have did a lot more with Commander Shaw, man. You could have had her giving more advice to the Rangers in episodes. Like, she had episode 6, she gave good advice to Devin, right? She was like, I thought you were better than this. Like, you need to, sometimes a good leader listens to the rest of their team. You need to get it together. Like, good advice to Devin. Why couldn't we have more episodes like that, right? They literally shoved Mick from Ninja Steel down our throats. Every episode, he was giving advice, and half the time it was shitty advice. But they shoved him down our throats, and we had to deal with it. How come Commander Shaw couldn't get more advice? Right? Like, we could also got some flashbacks between her and her son, right? Like, there's such an interesting dynamic between those two. I want to know what it was like for Robbie growing up being her son, pretty much. I want to know what made him want to be a Power Ranger. Was it because she was a part of Grid Battle Force and stuff? Is that why he did this? Like, how was his life growing up? I wanted flashbacks with this. I want to see how Robbie had to constantly like work hard and train just to please his mom and stuff. Like, say, you remember that time that Commander Shaw was very upset that Nate left Grid Battle Force by himself and then forbid him from leaving? You remember that, right? Because it's all about his safety, right? You know, so you can't leave Grid Battle Force, not without a chaperone. You remember that? And you remember that Nate eventually became a Power Ranger? Wouldn't it have been great if Commander Shaw was actually not happy about that? What if, you know, there was an episode where Commander Shaw actually forbid Nate to be a Power Ranger and took his morpher away and like tried to give it to somebody else, you know, because Nate is the brains of this operation, right? If Nate dies in battle, we're gonna be in very big doo-doo, right? So maybe Nate shouldn't be out here being a Ranger. Like, why didn't we have an episode where Commander Shaw is like fighting the Rangers on this? I don't know. Or you remember that episode where General Burt wanted to shut Steel down so that the villains couldn't get their hands on him? Why didn't we have a scene where Commander Shaw stands up for her Rangers and be like, General Burt, you can't do this shit. We need, you know, come on, utilize her more. I don't know, man. Like, I remember that episode from SPD, which is one of my favorite episodes of all time, where Supreme Commander Betty showed up and Commander Kruger got fired because he stood up for his Rangers. I would love a scene with Commander Shaw standing up to General Burt for her Rangers, but we didn't get it. All right, let's talk about Nate. Nate. Nate is my favorite character on this show. Heels. At first, it was Zoe, but I grew to love Nate after a while, right? And Nate and Zoe like each other, so both my faves like each other. I love it. But yes, Nate is my favorite character on the show. I love him. He has an interesting backstory, but they could have dove, whatever. They could have expanded on his backstory more. Okay, they just could have. He has a very interesting backstory. Him being a super genius, him working for Grid Battle Force at a very young age, whatever strained relationship he has with his parents, you know, him being an only child. There's a lot here. I just wish they would have expanded on it more. I do. And you know, I might as well touch on this now, because I know that to a lot of things that I've said about the storyline, people's rebuttal would be, well, this is only season 1, and you know, Beast Morphers is gonna have a season 2, and they could touch on all that stuff in season 2. There is no reason why none of this couldn't have been touched on in season 1. None of this. Commander Shaw could have been doing more in season 1. Nate's backstory could be expanded upon in season 1. There's just no excuse, alright? Because there's barely anything. There's really nothing that happened in season 1 to warrant them waiting until season 2 to do these things. Just saying. Like, there's nothing. Nothing was going on here. Like, it's like if you're going out to eat. Season 1 feels a lot like appetizers. It's a whole lot of appetizers. And y'all saying that, well, season 2 is where you get the main course. It's like, no. Both seasons have to stand on their own 2 feet. So both seasons should have entrees. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Okay? Both seasons should stand on their own 2 feet. Both seasons should have a healthy dose of story. Okay? And season 1 of Beast Morphers doesn't, and that's a flaw, that's a problem. But yeah, I really want to know more about Nate's childhood. And honestly, I do hope that season 2 of Beast Morphers expands on his childhood more. But yeah, but back to Nate in season 1. Also, Nate has a relationship with Zoe. The season barely remembers this. Like, we had one early episode where we learned that Nate had a crush on Zoe, right? I think it was episode 4. Like, we learned that Nate had a crush on Zoe. I think he was her secret admirer or whatever. Then we skip all the way to episode 14 and we found out that Zoe also likes Nate. And then those two admit their feelings to each other. And then we never hear about this shit again. We don't hear about that at all. Not even in the finale. And I hate that. I'm interested in a relationship. I want to see some shit with this. Come on. Like, seriously, there's nothing in this season that y'all are doing where I can say, oh, well, I understand why they didn't touch on this because, I don't know, we needed more Ben and Betty scenes. Like, what the fuck? I don't, like, come on. We could have had Nate and Zoe trying to date each other on the low, right? But then they eventually get exposed. And then they have to answer to Commander Shaw. And then maybe Robbie stands up for them. Because he knows what this feels like, right? And he's like, no, Mom, they should be allowed to date. It doesn't hurt anything. I mean, Tommy and Kim made it work for years. What the fuck? So I'm just, I don't know. There's so much story that they just let him slide. And I hate it. It almost feels to the point where, like, Power Rangers needs to hire me, man. They need to hire me. Not necessarily to write the scripts, but, like, let me read over it. Like, when y'all turn in scripts, let me read over it. Let me just tweak this shit for y'all. Let me tell you what you need to add. Like, y'all need me on the payroll because this is just, god damn, this video is long. But you know what? Let me just talk about one more thing. And I've talked about it before, right? The B-Spots. Oh my goodness, the B-Spots. Why do they feel like such an afterthought? I hate that. The B-Spots is such a cool idea. The Rangers each have their own personal Alpha 5s. Come on, this is dope. And they're animals. They're like Pokemon. Come on. Why are they in the background? Why are they in the background but Ben and Betty aren't? Oh my god, I hate Ben and Betty. But we're not talking about them. B-Spots. B-Spots. Why? I mean, come on. Like, I remember episode 7, right? I remember where the Rangers said that the B-Spots were their best friends. And keep in mind, at that point, the Rangers and the B-Spots have not had one real interaction. The only interaction the Rangers and their B-Spots had prior to episode 7 was when they're in a Zord fight. And you're talking about your best friends? Really? Why not establish that? Why not have bonding moments between the Rangers and the B-Spots, right? Why not have scenes with Devin talking to Cruz about the relationship with his dad? Why not have more scenes with Robbie talking to Smash about the relationship with his mom? They had like one scene in episode 17 out of 20. Okay, with Robbie talking to Smash. Like, we could have had more scenes like that. Robbie talking to Smash about his feelings for Roxy and he misses her and he wants to save her. Like something. My God, man. Do y'all know how to write? I just bond these characters. Have them actually feel like best friends. Come on now. Nate has Steel. You know, the brother he always wanted, right? God, I hate Steel. Well, no. Let me take that back. I don't hate Steel. I don't. It's just some of his lines get on my nerves. I think that's what it is. I don't hate him, but some of his lines. Like him always saying that he's part human. Oh my goodness, that irks me. I just wish they would write that better or just have it flow more naturally. Every fucking episode he has to tell us that he's part human. I don't need it. But him and his brother have an interesting relationship. Nate and Steel. They have an interesting relationship. I like it. I like the concept of it. But I hate how they tried to like force bond them. Like, I think it was the episode after Steel, I don't know, came alive, you know, and they tried to do like one mini little montage and, oh, they're brothers. I hated that. I feel like they could have did it way more naturally. Just have them talk, have them hang out, have Nate confess, hey, I actually have feelings for Zoe, but we're Rangers, so I can't do anything about it. Like, come on, be real brothers. So yeah, Beast Morphers really dropped the ball when it came to his storylines, you know, and one can hope that, oh, you know, when next season for Power Rangers Super Beast Morphers, the super is silent, that, you know, everything is going to get better and they might, you know, write a more interesting story and blah, 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 blah. And I just, yeah, I don't believe it because I did this with Dino Charge, right? You know, and Beast Morphers reminds me a lot of Dino Charge. It does, you know, where it's good, but it has a lot of flaws. But if they worked on these flaws, then it could be better, but they're not going to work on these flaws, you know. And I already know now that in season 2 of Beast Morphers, we're going to get a whole bunch of filler. I know it. We're going to get a whole bunch of filler instead of actual really good story. And I'm just sick. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. And all I just have to stick with the comic books, which I'm currently behind on, and I need to read them. But yeah, all I got is the comic books. Which is why I'm not here for the TV show's bullshit, because if the comic books can be written really well, then there's no excuse for the TV show not to be written well. There's just none. Not here for it. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to watch this silly little show, if not only for the big anniversary, well, not anniversary, but just special. I guess, right? We're not on another anniversary, right? It's just a Dino team up for reasons. So yeah, I'll just be watching that Donald team up. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. I'm ending this video. All right, thanks for watching. Later, guys. I'm out.